Hello. So I was just reading about in the Irish Independent, right, a story which is a recommendation from a European human rights organization, right, coupled with some human rights advocate, an Irish guy, right, and they're suggesting that trespassing laws need to be scrapped or should be scrapped to allow for travellers to continue to live the traveling lifestyle, right? The nomadic lifestyle. Move from place to place, pitch up for a while, and then head off again or whatever, right? And wouldn't it be nice to say that these people had a specific a group of people's interest at heart, right? I don't see it that way, right? I just see another group of people, travelers, that are being used as a wedge here to slowly erode the idea of personal possession of items, homes, land, right? It's as simple as that. So the we already have things like the inheritance tax, right, which is designed, call a spade, right? It is designed to bankrupt people into having to sell the land that they've inherited, that has trickled down and has been handed down uh, through the generations, through your family, right? That is your ancestors' gift to you. And now this government successive governments decide they want to come in and bleed you dry of that, right? Force you to have to sell it to foreign investors, right? And now you can see in England as well, and they've been floating it around here too, the spare bedroom tax, right? So, and this other, you have the talking heads out there promoting it, right? That so such and such percentage of Irish people live in homes that are too big for them. Therefore, you should be taxed for having spare bedrooms to the point where you can't afford the tax and you have to sell your house, right? Even though what you get for your house will not allow you to buy another property after it. So you'll just end up, God knows where, with just with money in your pocket, right? This kind of thing. And the relentless Marxist, call it whatever you want, right? It is just the philosophy and the politics of the envious, the uncreative, the incapable, the parasitic, and overall cowardly and weak people. This is the politics you get, right? We don't want to do anything. We know full well we offer nothing to anybody. So what we want to do is instead is put ourselves in a position where we can live off your livelihood instead, right? We take everything from you, right? And any gift you might have gotten, anything that's bequeathed to you, we'll squeeze you dry of that. We'll make it so economically unsustainable to continue to hand down land or property in your family through your family's line that you will be forced to sell it unwillingly, right? Or forced to sell it out of sheer desperation, or face bankruptcy where you have to sell it anyway, right? Disgusting, disgusting stuff. And now you see this thing where some human rights watchdog or whatever is saying that Irish Irish laws should be changed to allow for, essentially, this is the way it would look, right? So I own a couple of fields, right? I own a bit of land. Travellers decide that that's a nice place, right? They park up, they stay there, and I can't say anything about it because I'd be infringing on their cultural identity. Because I'd be abusing them based on their ethnic characteristics and the history that they might have had as a people. Nonsense. Nonsense. And it's unfortunate, but there's a lot of travellers that will read into this and they'll go along with this and they will back this and they'll make a lot of noise about this because it benefits them. You know, totally unable to see in some degrees that they're being used to continuously destroy and make this country more dangerous. If you have nobody who owns any property or land is going to want this, by the way, right? Nobody. You're already, by forcing this thing through, right? You are making Ireland a far more dangerous place to live in, because you're going to have farmers that are going to go out and put holes in caravans. And there's going to be major trouble over it. Major trouble, right? So you're going to see caravans parked up outside old ones' houses on country roads, right? So what happens when that old woman dies then? What are the laws around there? Like, so if there's no private property anymore, can we just move into the house altogether? Because that's essentially what it's going to be, right? That's what they're aiming at. Just to make every little area of Ireland just unsafe, problematic, unpredictable. You have no safe quarter in this country anymore, right? Until the point where you choose to make it safe. And you'd be willing for the days as well where it just comes to a head, right? Just let it erupt. Just let it erupt and let the chips fall where they may, right? And whoever's still standing, the world is yours, right? Let it happen. Because, look, ultimately we need to call a spade in regards to this conversation. Travellers 30 years ago, very little issue with them hanging around anywhere. Travellers today, to a large degree, right? No. You can't trust them. You just can't trust them. People in Ireland don't trust travellers anymore. And travellers will kick up a fuss and say, well, discrimination based because I'm a traveller. No. It's not really, like. It's based on observation of human behaviour over years, right? People don't want it around them. Clonmel is suffering endlessly because of the carry-on of some of the travelling families in the town, right? So people don't want that. And now this government want to use this group of people to slowly chisel away at Irish people's private property and the right to have your own patch of land, and to say, no one enter here, not yours, on you go. And to be able to move people on from that. So if this goes through, right, are you not allowed to move a few families of travellers that decide they're staying on your land? And these Roma gypsies as well, right? So that's what's going to be. They're after melting both of these groups together, right? And it's unfortunate, and I hope to God that the Irish travellers see a bit of sense and decouple themselves from this and say, we don't want any part of this. That's the sensible thing to do if you're listening, right? That is the sensible thing to do. Come out and say, we don't want any part of this. We don't want to be coupled in with Roma people, right? Because that is absolutely not going to work in your favour, right? But ultimately, it's the same old ding-dong. Same old thing. Disgusting human beings who want to steal everything belonging to you, who want you to live in fear and terror, to be able to even leave your house, right? To be too afraid to do anything, and to hinder you legally and criminally for upholding anything that is of fundamental human nature, which is your right to a territory, right? A claimed territory. Mine, not yours, not anyone else's. You do not make the laws around here. This is not belonging to you. You have no say on this patch of land. I make the rules around here, right? Simple as that. Everyone gets on well. Everyone gets on well, right? But when you start using different ethnic groups to displace, to antagonize, and to bully a native population, it's not going to end well, right? And here's where you'll see where the rubber hits the road, right? So Irish travellers, a lot of them, right, generally, they speak of not wanting to be discriminated against and to be seen as equal, right, to a large degree. You need to recognise what equality is then, right? Because you can't accept one rule for ye and then a different rule for other people, right? You can't be doing that, because that's not right, and that's wrong. It's immoral and it's unlawful, right? Regardless of what the legal nonsense says, it's unlawful. And It's not sustainable. But look, here we are, and where'd you go from here? Like, look, what more does this take? And I suppose to a degree, again, silver linings, right? You have a look at it and you say, who will this largely affect, right? It will largely affect uh, country people. Like I said, people who have a bit of land out the country, um, vacant fields, or they use it for grazing or whatever, right? That's who this will affect the most. And it just so happens that those people are probably the people that need to wake up and smell the roses and have a look around, right? Beyond their own little village or town, beyond that. Look beyond that. There's something stalking it in the long grass that has its eye on you, right? And doing this for generations, staring at your feet and only being interested in the people that look and sound and say the exact same things as you, it's not helpful, right? It hasn't been helpful, and it welcomes this beast in on top of you. And now we'll see what happens with this, right? But look, fundamentally wrong, and it won't go anywhere, right? It won't go anywhere.